Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni. Nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.
Witam wszystkich na 444 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy niedzielę, 28 luty 2021 rok. Tematem jest druga część tłumaczenia 368 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy. Tak więc zapraszam do obejrzenia, wysłuchania, a po warsztacie, jak ktoś będzie chciał zabrać głos, to zapraszam do wypowiedzi, zadawania pytań lub do prowadzenia rozmów na temat technologii plazmowej. Więc oglądamy.
Manifestation of the physicality based on the inertia of this planet. The manifestation of the inertia of another location, let's say another planet, would be different. So this is a specific reference to this particular planet. And so in that context,
we go into the next steps of development and progressive achievement within the structure to Italian society and Keshe University. There are a number of questions which we noticed during the break. People asking, can a cup be used by different people, one cup? Preferably not, as every time we pick the cup, we carry our souls with it. It finds balance with our energy, with what's in it. Some people ask if they can be washed. Yes, hand washing. Never put these systems in a machine. Disturbance of the fields will become disturbance of the person. And in so many ways, we learn to live the new way by using it. And it's important that we always look after these systems as the part of us, not something on the table. It's not another roast beef and it's not another banana on the table to take it. You got to understand your interaction with a cup feeds you the balanced energy of your life. When you pick it up, your emotion, your feeling, anger, happiness, joy will change the composition of the strength of the soul to bring it to balance, that when you drink it, you receive always a balanced field, adjusted to the disturbances which we have used. In so many ways, in the coming time, what you saw as a vertical enhancement unit, the technology embedded in it, will be released as a part of the society structure. I envisage as the cities which we're planning to build in China by the Yellow River, the lamppost will be the feeding lights of the soul of the man, the way we use it today. It's not for lightening the path, but in a way balancing the fields of the emotion. In so many ways, the new technology with what has been developed can become a condition that we receive everything at all time. And this is the beauty of it. I envisage in a very short time that the aircrafts we travel in will be changed into the places where we become part of the structure in enjoying the other passengers, as all we become the travelers for a short time. As we've seen in the report by the Iranian letter, travel to the moon is 1 minute. And now you can imagine where would we be in 1 hour. In so many ways, when I used to read the scriptures of different paths of belief in the past, I could see it. Why in one path of belief it says the body cannot be buried more than 1 hour from the point of his passing of the physical body, a point of life. Means if you die in the city of Tehran, the furthest they can take you from is 1 hour to the point of destination where you're going to be buried. The reason was very simple, because they could foresee in 1 hour, in 60 minutes, with the knowledge to come, you can cross galaxies. And then the earth become a burial ground. Whoever is of the earth descendant wants to be buried back on earth. This way brings a lot of limitation that the man of the universe will bring to themselves. To my belief, no man should be moved from the position of his form, as his soul will transmute the physicality with itself. In so many ways, we choose our destiny. And in so many ways, we decide the point where we transfer our energy of life, our soul, to another soul. The changes, the new technology will bring in new dimensions in way of thinking and in way of living. The way we change our lives with computers in a very short time will change our life by thoughts of the others that we would like to understand and to follow. We learn the language when we stand in front of the Chinese man by looking into his soul. As our soul, we learn the language of him, from him we speak to. He feels, and the same time, our emotion through our soul, and he speaks the language that we understand. Now, in another way, we understand more why we have chosen the universal language as the language of the mother language, where our soul communicated with itself and the mother at the point of birth. The first language we ever spoke was when we were in the womb of the mother, and we transferred her emotion and our emotion through our soul. And now we learn that language, and we build our languages on those bases. And so we do the same. We lose our soul to a language. And then in that process, we develop our structure and mentality through the path of the emotion of that language. The biggest question for Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers on humanity in this coming time is, how do we speak the universal language? We don't speak the universal language. We learn the language of universe from those of the universal community as they manifest in the manifestation of their soul. Man has not to. Any other question?
Yes, we have a knowledge seeker. His hand up by the name of Jalal here.
We don't know him, don't let him in. I bet he's going to ask two questions. He's going to ask two questions. Can we have question two first, Jalal?
Good day, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, Jalal. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Mr. Keshe, I have, yes, I have two, but it's not a
As
question.
usual.
But it's really, it's not the questions. It is a request and it is an comment. So which one do you like first, request or comment?
Both we listen to. We have no choice here.
Okay. First, I will go to the comment. I will say to the knowledge seekers, be proud and really be happy to be part of this plasma elevation of peace, because you are part of. And I am really very, very happy that all my life I came to the conclusion in the end I done something good, and in a way if something happened and I left this place, I left something good for my who is coming behind me. And this is for all knowledge seekers. Be proud to be in this plasma. Secondly, a request from the leaders of SAPA to promote this knowledge to the Iraqis government, which they see that they are in peace. And from my part, I am will and I am fit to bring and help support this knowledge to them in every way I can, in any time. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, for this always beautiful what you are doing.
Thank you very much. You got to realize, as I mentioned many times before, the word Sepa in the Persian language goes back centuries. It means the defender of the nation, the citizens of the nation, not the government. And we've seen this, that Iranian Sepah is the protector of the Iranian citizens. As one was harmed, the whole nation rose to protect the rest. The power which was shown by Sepah was to show loss of one is the loss for everyone. The whole nation cried for the loss of one of the senior scientists of Iran. And when Sepah moved, even through the time of Kurosh and Cyrus, the whole nation moved behind them. You have to be an Iranian to understand the meaning of Sepah. It means trust in your nation. It means value freedom. It means to be correct and to be a man with a true blood of human to protect the others, where your life comes second when it comes to save the life of the others. Sepah is a culture of living in Iran. It's not just something you heard today. The army of Cyrus and Kurosh carried it, and before them. To us, we understand Sepah in a very simple way. Those who protect us from the outside. And in the present time, they made a lot about Sepah, but in fact to us, Sepah is like a Red Army. It's part of us. It's like every other system you see is the protector. Vatican has the Swiss Guard. Iran has the Sepah. And that word will come part of the literature of many of us, where they become our protector, being on this planet and beyond. And in a way, it's a service to humanity. And is not just to be there as a soldier, is to create a condition of life for the others to live a peaceful life. When you look at the life of the Sepah leaders, you understand they live a very humble life. They all live with a very simple life. In the structure of the Sepah in Iran, you don't see what you see in the armies. They are people who have devoted their life to serve the nation. And you don't see the extravagance which you see with the military people. Iranian army is totally separate from Sepah. Sepah is people within the people who protect the knowledge and the border and the integrity of the nation of Iran, not the government of Iran. This is something which has never been understood clearly in respect to Sepah. In the Iranian culture, Sepah is us, is our brother, is our sister, and we have been brought up with them from childhood. During the Shah, we had the same. During the Kurosh and Cyrus, we had the same. What they brought in different names have been the protector of the citizens of the nation, not what is made by the Americans as what is the biggest enemy and the rest. This is why the West fears the Sepah so much, because it's the nation, is not a man, it's not army. Iranian army is totally different organization than the Sepah. And this is all of us. We are part of it as, in a way, we are soldiers of peace and soldiers of defending the technology. We as knowledge seekers, in true essence, we are the Sepah of humanity. And this is what we have to transfer to the rest of the world. Not playing with the words, but living the true essence of the work. And this is what is the job of many, many other organizations across the world, that what has been misrepresented, that people have to understand the true essence of it. Many of us, we cover it on the civil defense names in our countries. In a way, Red Cross And the other things in their true essence are the sabahs, in so many ways to protect and be there to serve. We see with Medical Sans Frontières, doctors which are there without borders. This in Farsi, we call it the motion, the movement of people, the sabah, which means collectively we are there to serve the totality.
So good. My mother name is Sabah. That's why.
That's why. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
I'm not emotional, but I try to explain the facts about the lies which has been set up by others to benefit themselves and to furnish themselves with what they like by destroying other people's character, which is the tradition in the Western world in respect when it comes to the East, when they cannot understand and when they want to demolish a character. But we have to understand the true essence of every culture and where it comes from. As I said, in the recent past few days, we have opened the hand of peace right across the planet. Even we have opened and allowed members of the Belgium Keshe Foundation Commission to become members of the television channel. It's the trust we have built with those who we trust in the structure of the Belgium. In so many ways, we slowly open the door that all become one nation. We have received enough support from the members of the Belgians of the Keshe Foundation that will open the channels. They have done whatever damage they want to do to themselves, and now it's for us to let them to repair themselves and join back into the rank of the Keshe Foundation. Any other question?
It occurred to me that the First Nations also seem to have that idea of the protector of the nation built into them. And they seem to be interconnecting around the world at this point as well. I had a vision that maybe they would all sign the World Peace Treaty and act as one nation. And in that way, could be the first nation that actually signs the World Peace Treaty as a nation.
We have to accept the elected authorities, not the claim by authorities. This is very important. From the outset of the Keshe Foundation, we received many groups who came and they said they are Hungarian First Nation. They came with their military uniforms into my office and they went out and they started changing to the civilian. I said, if you are defending your nation, you should be proud wearing the uniform. No, it's dangerous. I said, so you're not elected. It's the first thing we have to be aware is allowing the what we call native languages spoken, what we call the natives of America, of different tribes, to be part of us through the language. But we cannot split the nation of United States because of that. Respecting the language and the mother language as part of Universal Council does not give the Keshe Foundation and knowledge seekers the right to override the elected majority of a nation as leadership. We have to become a force to unite the nations, not to use to split that there is a First Nation of this here, a First Nation of that. The First Nation have the right to be part of the Keshe Foundation Universal Council by the language, the mother language. That's the right of every life. Even if the sheep can speak and transfer his need in the language of the man, we have to respect that soul. Just because is in a different shape than us. And soon mankind will come to this conclusion. Is part of us, is part of one nation. We have to listen to all dimensions now that we listen to the soul of the creatures of the God, not to the voice of them. And so one of the points which I always made, as we've seen in Indian and in Chinese, we have different members of Universal Council of the same nation but different languages. But we respect the authority of the Presidency of China and the CPC as one nation. This is important, that we don't get a split and we don't let people to bring us, then we become the supporter of the opposition or in line with the opposition or in line with the government. Elected members of the nation has to be respected as a government of the nation by the Keshe Foundation and its citizens. But when it comes to running the other administration part of the Keshe Foundation, it goes by the mother tongue. And this is what is important to all of us. Not to split nations that we are represented, unite the nations that we represent all. This is what we have to do, and that's what's the purpose of peace. Once we divide, we'll start wars. Once we unite, we have no enemies to start wars. This structure has to be correct from the base. Those who call themselves the First Nation and whatever, you have a language, become member of the Universal Council, and spread the knowledge of your ancestors with the rest of the community and the world. Take your position as a television channel presentation, and we give you the ground for it to do. But we will not pick up the First Nation of such and such a tribe in the United States to become against the United States elected government. The two different things. And it's our job to respect the elected majority by vote of ballot. Does not matter what allegations are made. If they occupy the office, we respect that office till the nation decides. We've seen that in Myanmar in the past few days. And we have seen in the past few weeks the elections in the United States that may have created. But the elected majority have taken their position. We stay, in a way, as knowledge seekers, obedient to the ethos of the flag. Does not matter what flag we carry under, unless we, in a way, we give our allegiance to the flag of the Keshe Foundation, which is peace and unity and one race, one nation, one planet, which again covers your nation, irrespective of its divisions. The message from the Keshe Foundation is peace, finding peace within and outside with the nation and the citizens.
Okay, we did have a question from Salamia in the Q&A, and she also has a hand up, but I'll ask the question because it relates to what you just said too. How can we bring peace with the help of the beauty of plasma technology at the soul level, with the help of this TV, to target the soul of the people and leaders to change their behavior?
When we teach, gradually people will leave the ethos. You have seen people who've been close and claim to be Keshe Foundation and blah, blah, blah. And they suddenly leave and they become the biggest opposition and enemy because they are after a position to create mayhem and another leadership. This shows from the beginning there was no integrity in becoming a knowledge seeker or part of the Keshe Foundation. If you work that way, you teach, you show the beauty of the knowledge to the others, irrespective of what and who they are. We speak on a daily basis to different people from different backgrounds, politics, agriculture, leaders of different parties and groups. We don't change our position for them to hear sweet words. We stick to the work of the foundation and what we think and what we do. Diplomats or politicians or scientists, it's all the same. Our responsibility is show the beauty and application of the technology. The beauty that you see how the Iranian Sepah leadership has changed towards the Keshe Foundation so rapidly in the past few months is because of the corona. All the members of the Sepah use the GANS technology. They live through it. We don't see any losses in Iranian Sepah leadership since the GANS technology has started working within the structure. Knowledge seekers tell us when they go into the meeting, GANS voters are on the table like the bottle of water. By delivering the technology to them and to their family, they have become knowledge seekers, but bringing the knowledge and belief in it to the whole nation, setting a structure that everybody can benefit. And this is the beauty of it. You was asked, how come Sepah? It hasn't changed because now physically they see it. Over 200 members of the Iranian parliament live off the GANS water. The Iran head of the security of the parliament was in bed. They use the GANS water. When you go to the National Defense University, the leaders of the university, they use the GANS water because they've seen it. They don't need to be taught. They believe in it because they use it. They've seen how the others suffer. The only problem is we have an incompetent president. So the bank account is more than lies. But this will be over in the next 2 or 3 months. The new head of the Iranian nation will take the Keshe Foundation to its next step. And what you see is a prelude to that change to come. Don't hope, as I always say, just be happy that you have served. The rest will come. I remember when you listened to Stefania, the Universal Council member from Italy. Last summer, she was more or less on the deathbed. She couldn't do anything. I stood by her day and night, whatever we could support to take her out of the position she was in with Corona. You've seen her nail on the report. That's her. The Corona went all over her body. We stood steadfast. We just transferred the knowledge the best way we could. We carried her through. And now she serves the foundation beyond imagination. This is how we have to work. We've done the same with another member of the Universal Council in the same dilemma. And many of you have done. We have the families in the United States who drove all the way to give a gas water to somebody who asked for help, and the whole family got infected. And we stood by them till they went through it. In helping, they got caught. You see cows travels, God knows, everywhere to get gas waters to anybody who needs it in London and asks for support. It's the same with the Keshe Foundation in Iran, the same with the Brazil. Governments only listen when they are touched themselves. And then we see the next step. Any other question?
Okay, we've got Salamia with the hand up, but before that, perhaps you can answer the question in YouTube that came through in Spanish. I translated it from Sandra, who says, "Good morning. How will it be done so that the humble people of the world have access to these units?"
Humble depends what they call a humble. But those who cannot afford it, the Keshe Foundation has set up a structure that can support those who will be able to use the technology if they cannot pay for it. This is part of the partnership with the Keshe Foundation. We don't open a charity. We've seen world leaders or people wealthy, they sign themselves as poor to get a service. That would not happen, hopefully. But those who cannot afford it, the foundation will find a way for it. But in a way, the process has to serve itself and the process has to carry on.
Okay, very good. Maybe we can hear from Salamia next, and then we have Asdar and Theodore. Ted.
Thank you very much.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, as
Yes.
usual, loud and clear.
Yes, I am happy that you are happy. I can feel your soul, that you feel in peace and happy since 2 weeks about, or maybe more. And thank you because you transmitted this to my soul too. I can feel him. I am so detached of everything. And now my question. What will be the structure of the world at the political level? We'll have a federation, or we'll have other arrangement. How it will be in your imagination and vision? Because we have to know what kind of world we will work for, a peaceful world, but we need a structure, a peaceful structure. How do you feel and think about this? Thank you.
If a peaceful structure comes the way we live and the way we set out our lives. When you have a disturbed people around you, your life becomes disturbed. When you find peaceful people, you find the same. And this is what has happened around me. The mayhem makers have gone and the life is peaceful. You don't have to worry about anything, and the people who you work with, they bring that peace to you. It's the nature of the environment we live in. And we create that environment for ourselves. When I said a couple of weeks ago, I have found peace and happiness. Those who created disturbance for me for years, they went on a rampage because they could not see happiness. If you love someone, you rejoice with their happiness, not their happiness brings you anger. And this is the nature of the people we live with. A father falls in love with the woman who becomes the wife of his son because he sees through her his son is happy. And through his happiness he becomes happy. It's no good when the father sees his son happy with a woman, starting a mayhem and the rest of it, which is the tradition of today. What makes my child happy has become my happiness because that's what I strive for. And we see there's a pattern with many parents. They want to decide who their child lives with and how it is, because they have an imagination in their head. And they start seeding the seed and sowing the seed of hate and division in the children with the new partner. Where, in fact, if we strive to bring happiness, if we see happiness for our children, let them be happy, because that frame of mind brings them that kind of happiness. Not what we want. And it's the same. It's us as a society which has to learn to live with people who we love or we care for, to stay happy and find happiness through even our sacrifices. In so many ways, we live to create joy for our children. Why do many parents go opposite? Because they want the son or daughter to marry a word of PhD or something, that they say they have a daughter-in-law or a son-in-law who's a doctor. What about the pain the child goes through? Names and position doesn't bring happiness. And we see this with many cultures. If my child is happy with who it is what's my wish. Who am I to decide that he'll be happy somewhere else with something else? I have a rule always with my children. I always tell them, I never talk anything about your partners till when you leave them, and I praise them to be with who you are, because your joy is my joy. This is what many of us don't understand. This is part of the culture we see. The happiness of a nation comes through whatever. It's the same as the happiness of a person. It is the way you set it out. Why should I create a mayhem when somebody is happy? Create lies and deception and all sorts. It comes back to me because there is no ground for it. It's me who's digging the hole to go deeper in it. This is what we see with our generation, and we see with the generation of our children, and most probably with our grandchildren, and our nation and the people who are around us. Any other question?
Yes, maybe we can hear from Ted next, actually, and then Azar after that.
There is somebody new in the chat we never heard from before.
Not with hands up, but we have some Q&A questions from people we haven't heard from before. For example, there's a question from Davey, the Q&A in Portuguese, and I translate it to thank you, Mr. Keshe, for all your dedication. My question is whether there will be a system for vision and hearing, improvement of those senses. Thanks.
We have a system. Actually, I built it for myself and it works, but I don't get a chance to use it. And yes, the technology is available. Vision system were very first systems initially we tested and seen its effectiveness. And one of them you've seen in the process of it has brought sight to Naomi, where The doctor said she's blind in one eye due to the accident. There was no way she could see. And the technology, use of the technology has built her sight. So you can read it. And in the medical report says that she has lost the sight in the eye due to the damage in the accident. And now she can fully see. Building eyesight is not a problem. It's the same with the hearing. As long as the nerves are there, you can encourage it to replace. And as the structure of the energy transfer goes, we can build anything in the body of the man, especially with the vertical enhancement system now. It is a possibility to do a lot of things. Each enhancement unit can be set for a specific job or a specific position. Many people want to buy the enhancement unit to see the whole family improving and this and that. If the family doesn't need any improvement, why do you want to improve it? Or is it just we want to see something? Then you say, oh, the system works. When you don't have a headache, why do you bandage it? And this is a tradition with many people, especially the plasma technology. You buy a system is for when it's needed, not buying a system, I want to see if I change. And we see this a lot, especially in China. People come and says, I want to sit in the system to see if it changes me, then I believe in it. Excuse me, what is sitting there for? Do you know what is wrong with you that you're sitting there for? Or is it just the ego trip? And majority of it is an ego trip. Any other questions?
We had a question from Viviana. Can the cups be used by everyone, even by people who have metal prosthesis in the body?
In a way, yes. In a way, it can be done. As maybe some of you know or don't know, I carry bits of these things in my body due to my physical vulnerability over the years. And I don't feel any difference by using it. But not for electronic systems, which comes, if you carry something electronic, and if you have a total hip replacement, no, because it creates a different condition. For a small pieces as a pins and those kind of things, it should be no problem. For a tooth filling should be no problem. But again, it's the doctors who have to tell you as they supervise.
Okay, Sandra says in the YouTube tag, grateful for your answer. My soul overflows with happiness. That was the Spanish translation. Okay, and
yep.
We have a new person here, or someone we haven't heard from for maybe some time, I'm not sure. Johannes? Maybe we could hear from them.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Rick. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I'm Johannes from Finland. And first of all, thank you very much. Every time you make me smile when you talk. My question is, here in Finland and in many other places at the moment, it's, well, pretty cold. We have around -10 during the day, -20 during the night. And my question is about the feeling of coldness. Like, it can be that it's -10 degrees and this cold feels unbearable. And then another day, same temperature, no wind, same condition. And that other day, that temperature feels like quite okay. It's not too cold. So we have been talking about shielding, that babies can kind of extend their soul, that they can sleep in totally noisy areas. Is that kind of something similar with the temperature we sense? So also it's some people, they live in cold areas and they are totally fine with it, and for other people it's just something they can't stand. So I don't know if you have something to say about that.
This has been part of the research and development of the Keshe Foundation, and we know through gases, through the energy transfer, do not interact with the field strength. As we've seen, the fishes live as they are made of gases in hundreds of degrees in depth of the ocean and in volcanic eruption areas. And we've seen animals in the most inner depth of the earth we never thought that exist. In a way, we can explain it as our emotion which gives us that feeling. It's, I always say, it's a love affair. You know, when you're in love, you never feel hungry because being and thinking of the love is more important than the hunger. Is not there, but in fact you're starving and you're losing weight because of it. But temperature is emotional, dependent on how we protect ourselves in it. This is going back to some of the teaching we've done before. We don't know the life of the man in the depth of the space. What happened if we threw a baby at the point of birth instead of in a pool of water or in the environment of the earth into the open span of the universe where the field of thirst has no condition? Is it minus or the evolution of the field, the strength of the soul of the man will make it an environment to live in? We never experienced that one. Would we try and then, as we do guinea pigs, put the rats and see how they react? Or we give them life from the first point of inception, the transmutation to live in an empty space of field, weaker fields. Yes, you feel emotionally, you feel warmer. Maybe you are because you had a good time with your partner. Even minus 20 feels plus 20 because you're so excited. So if that emotion can create that condition, so we can do. It depends on us, how you feel it.
So what would you recommend for people simply if they feel cold to not feel so cold? Is it simply changing your point of view, your mind?
Fall in love. The Keshe Foundation, we have the material. We just are so involved in research with other parts that we don't finish it. It's actually boxes as made in the lab by the research knowledge seekers, very beautiful lady in the center, that we're about to test in delivering a new paint structure that changes the emotion in the room and even to some extent the temperature in the room. And we can see it, how people will feel emotionally in the room. Can we create systems which, what do you call it, create a condition of warmth and love when you come into the environment, a condition of peacefulness? Yes, it's possible. We have the technology, but we don't have the time to complete it. It's in the process getting completed. This was supposed to be going into the market about 3-4 months ago. The material is there. We have the agencies who can bring it out into the market, but the priority was set to finish the vertical enhancement, the flight system, and transmutation of the energy system, which is, you've seen today, the vertical enhancement. From now on, from next week, the Keshe Foundation switches into completing the flight system, that if we could achieve it and complete it for the opening of the Keshe Foundation television. You can change the emotion through the strength of the fields of the environment. Why we feel happy when we are in a warm place, but we still can be happy we could be in the middle of the iceberg. And this knowledge is within us, we can do. This is why, if you notice, if you go on the, what do you call it, the store of the Keshe Foundation, we start promoting the sale of dry ganses very extensively in past week, 2 weeks. Because on the back of it, we will introduce new materials that you can mix to create the condition of warmth and happiness and whatever you might need. The knowledge is with us. And very subtle way, the Keshe Foundation China has produced nearly 300 kilograms of dry ganses for this purpose. If you go on the store, you see it. You have a CH3 dry gans and other things. And in the coming time, we will show you how to use it. Even in the middle of the ice, you will feel warm by wearing a clothing, making a gas water that you can cover yourself with. This is part of the evolution which we have brought about, but so much that we cannot do. These are not normal gases. These are the technologies which has been developed, and now we bring it to public in a very, very rapid way. There are a combination of gases which is not in public. When you mix it, you become so affectionate. All the structure is set not to create a condition of animosity and war and conflict. And we have this. Why don't we paint our buses and our planes and our trains with these materials? That while we are in, we are peaceful. We don't mind where it goes, how long it will take on the spaceship till I get there. We create the energies of these gases. You know, as we always say, have you been with the children in a car? The minute they get in the car, they say, are we there yet? Have we arrived yet? How long more yet? With this, the children said, whenever we get there, we are there. Peacefulness. And this technology is with us. And as I said, it's very expensive to produce these gases the way we do, especially in China. If you do it in the West, it'll cost us 3-4 times more. And we put these for sale in measures. It will be shipped out of China. They have received certification of shipment, and they will do it. And we tell you, taking these in a way has been made, and then following the processes which we'll introduce in coming time, it allows you to create environments that it changes even the house. You paint the wall of the house with it, and you find condition of emotion changes. Condition of you can leave the window open in the middle of the ice and still feel warm. It's just sorry about if the jug of water cracks open because it's frozen, but you still feel warm. This can be done, it's done, and now it takes time. But the technology is so big that every one of us needs to carry a part of it. But this is already set up. We can access these gases and set up the condition to bring that change. You might walk in your country in the snow and feel it's like being in Saudi Arabia.
Gianni from Romania has done some work with that as well and shown it in the Keshe Plasma Reactor group. I think in the One Nation, One Planet, or no, sorry, in the Testimonials group as well.
In which, where, when was that?
That would have been, he's done it several times, and the last time was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think, something like that.
Right. Thank you very
You
much.
got to realize emotion have a field strength, but you got to realize you have to find the field strength of your emotion. As I said many times, what you feel happy with might be the same field sadness to somebody else. This is what I said just a few minutes ago when somebody asked, "You're happy?" Yes, I'm happy. I'm at peace. But the strength which brings me happiness has brought somebody conditioned to create mayhem. So it's what is warm to me is not necessarily warm to you. You have to find the strength of your own emotion. And the new technology would allow you that.
That's exactly what happened with Gianni. I think he got some issue with his child because they don't need to wear outer coats and the heavy clothes, and they can run around in bare feet, and they hardly notice the frozen ground and that kind of thing. And I think he had an issue with the authorities because they say that that's not okay. You're not allowed to run around without appropriate heavy clothes when it's cold out, because you will supposedly catch a cold and so on. But his kids have never had any sickness. And
it is
strange.
Yes, but we see this. I mean, in environments where we work, we are very pedantic about which gases we keep in the lab. I don't allow certain gases to be produced because I know the effect on the emotion. If you walk into the front door, we have what? I think it's about 15 5-liter bottles of all gases. This is a decoration and entrance. And right across you go through the lab, through the production, or through the other part of the foundation. You see, we are just in the surrounding of liters on liters of beautiful energy, all positive. When I say you find peace in the research center, because the amount of energy is there, we don't need to. When you, now it's around 12 o'clock, there's a habit in the Keshe Foundation that we always eat together. And you find a beautiful, peaceful time from everywhere. Even you don't like it, you sit and watch it, but you eat it because it's a pleasure to be with others. And you have to create that environment. And with the new technology, we can. We have that knowledge that we can use it.
May I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Yes. There's many times you have been talking about Planet Zeus, and it somehow feels like this place would be more than just a fictional place for you. Is there something you want to say about that?
Years ago, when I was poisoned by some, what I call people, Dr. Elia Kostova decided to find out what poison is in my body, what I've absorbed. So she took the cutting from my hair and my nail, and I think skin, if I remember correctly, and was sent to the specific laboratory in Germany. And the result came back after a few weeks, and the reaction of Dr. Kostova was very simple. You can read it in the teachings, we've been there. It says your blood is not of a human. The structure of your body, your life, is from a planet we know in the galaxies, because that planet has the same composition. And it's a scientific data. And in so many ways, as I said, planet Zeus to me is where I came to create peace on planet Earth, and it's home where I go back to. We are passengers of the universe, take the shape of the time and the place. And in so many ways, my time on this planet is over. And I have accomplished what I came here for, even though it's taken thousands of years. And when I leave, you will see the state of peace on this planet, the wish of not only man, but every creature in the universe. We are not aware because you cannot see beyond the vision of the man what I have set for humanity. The love of Mitra brought a lot of love on this planet, and with it, the love of the Creator, and with it, peace for the whole universe. And Earth is a beautiful place to be in. And in a way, as you remember the movie said, and what was written on the top of the aircraft hangars in Frankfurt when the Eastern Bloc was opened up, Americans, Frankfurt Airport wrote, mission accomplished. I have accomplished my mission, and in the time to come, I'll return back to where I came from. And I call it Planet Zeus as its home to me, where I was born, and I return back to my ancestors and where I will live. To man, 6,000 years, 10,000 years is a long time. To passenger of universe and people who come from my structure, this is the seconds in the life of the universe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Okay, very good answer. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Mr. Truth is not a good answer.
Right. We have a couple of questions regarding, let me just find the previous one.
You see, let me explain to you. We are not messiahs. Messiahs is a man-made word. We are people, we are the souls, which through our soul we enlighten the other souls. In a way, every soul is a messiah, it's a savior of itself. And man has to find the savior of his soul and the strength of it. We've seen everywhere splashes the messiah. Every one of us is a messiah. Every one of us is a promised one, because we gave a promise to our soul to bring it to its best of its ability at the point of separation of the physical dimension. And that's what the Messiah is. And those people who claim continuously Messiah, this Messiah, that, yes, I am a Messiah for my soul to find the best solution for it, even in the physicality body of the man. We'll see what come up. But Earth is a beautiful place. An Earth where it has shown to the rest of the, what I call, citizens of universe, how to love and how to find peace within love. Loving, giving, and being there to give. Any other question? Or are we reaching to near end of the, what I call, position?
Thanks, Alex. The question is whenever whenever time, like the clocks, whether they're analog or digital, and they get off, like due to experimentation, like why, like, and then through research, everybody always says gravity is connected to time and time is connected to gravity. But I don't really understand how that is or how it's so. And what is, like, what's happening when gravity moves, and then so does time. And then why wouldn't like anybody around the experiment or anyone, because of that, like how is it like still that they could be like matter around there could be like a clock is a few seconds off or doesn't keep time correctly after the experiment. And that to me is like something that is like a mystery.
So you understand that if you're sitting in a stadium and you're watching a game, that the point of view of all the viewers is different. And then so, you say to your friend there, did you see that? And they say, well, I didn't see it the way you saw it. And the reason for it is because they're sitting at different locations. So according to Herman Weyls' thesis, no two electrons can be at the same place at the same time. No two particles of energy can be at the same place at the same time. So no two observers can be at the same place at the same time. But you see, the field rotates. And so the field rotates at a certain speed, which gives you a uniform picture. And so you see what the other person sees, but not at the same time. And our eye works that way. So our eye is working as a digital, and our brain is working analog. What that means is there's a blur fill in between. And so the difference between let's say a race car. If you have a car on a track, and a second later you see it down the track. And so we say, well, the difference between the two locations is time. And what causes the one car to go to the other part? There is no change in the physicality, but there's a change in the position. And so that position is the time. And so that is imminently tied into the gravity of the Earth because of the manifestation of the physicality based on the inertia of this planet. The manifestation of the inertia of another location, let's say another planet, would be different. So this is a specific reference to this particular planet. And so in that context, the filling of the gaps is specific to the gravity of this planet. And that's actually something I'm going to discuss on the weekend. So the difference between the magnetico-gravitational relationship is the balance of the field forces, and the positioning is according to that. So because of the rotation, you have to understand the rotation of the planet rotates the planet from day to night. But the hemispheres also rotate. So how do the hemispheres rotate without interfering with the rotation of the planet? And so we're differentiating between the physical rotation and the plasmatic rotation. And so our brains are functioning on a plasmatic level, and our eyesight is functioning on a physical level. And so the two are interacting. And that is where your difference comes in. It is this capability which allows all the people in the stadium to view the game at the same time and see it the same way. And so eventually, because of the rotation of the fields, you would see it exactly the same way as your neighbor would see it, but not at the same time. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it helped a lot. I had a feeling you were going to bring up the inertia, and I had a feeling that, possibly like the inertia is rubbing off on, the other materials like a clock, and now it's, out of phase of what was perceived as before. that angle. You say you teach on the weekends. Is that the Brazilian teaching that you teach on?
I teach in Brazil on the Monday evening. I teach in Italy Monday afternoon, and I teach at the North American team on Sunday afternoon.
Well, I'll try to listen in. I've been trying to listen into the Brazilian sometime to catch you, because you do make a lot of sense to me, and I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Peace.
I have one. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Another way, if you understand, so can you close the background microphone? Thank you very much. If you extend the knowledge, is that gravitational field forces are strength dependent. And the mechanical systems or even digital systems are inertia dependent, where inertia stays constant, where the gravitational fields due to change of strength will behave and travel at different speed. When you look at the clock, which stays behind, where the inertia has created this field in respect to the matters which have built the clock, are independent of the effect of the gravity. And that's why increase in gravity, which means increasing the pulling force, affects the physical dimension of the body of the man, which is plasmatic field in a higher order or in a looser order than the matter state of the tightness of the electron transmission or matter transmission running a clock. And what we call field strength in gravity creates different speed of pull. In a way, if you have a 1 kilo attached to a body, you fall much slower than if I attach 100 kilo to you. And that's more or less a field experience. But in gravity is the factor dependent, not multiplication of times. And this is where we come. But in reality, time doesn't exist unless you frame it for you at a point in time and a position. Any other question? Any other question? You see, people like Anas and I and others which understand the work of systems, is easy to be able to get emotional because we know the truth. And I'm sure it's the same with the Canadians and Americans, and the same with any other nationality. We need to understand the culture of a nation in true essence, not what we are fed with the propagandas that makes us to think. As always said, mankind has to become to see through the soul of a nation, not to the physicality of the citizens. And we all have the same soul. We want the best for our nations, best for planet Earth and beyond, for the people we come in touch with. So we get sentimental when it comes to understanding of the work of people who serve the nations in so many ways, in a deeper way than we have been led to believe. And those who serve hardest, they become bigger enemy for those who want to abuse, and they don't let the abuse to happen. And this is part of the structure of human life. It's the same we've seen in the past months and years. For so long, I was wondering how the Keshe Foundation gets attacked deep right in the center. But in fact, it was within the center which those attacks were planned out. And moving away from it has brought me peace, because I'm not in that turmoil, and allow us to live a peaceful life. But we see those who have a disturbed soul never stop. Is what I call finding another victim. And this is the process, be it the nation, be it the person, being a culture. Mankind needs to learn that it's equal, and he has to promote peace within and outside. Shall we call it a day?
Okay, sure, Mr. Keshe.
It's nearly 4 hours we've been sharing. Today was mainly knowledge sharing of the progress of the Keshe Foundation. As we teach knowledge, as we have shared a lot of experiences, today is a beautiful day where we saw the realities about the Keshe Foundation. Confirmation from the Iranian government that technology exists and is giving them superiority in knowledge and science, and they want to use it for peace. Seeing the development of the enhancement units, vertical enhancement unit, to ultimate goal of delivering technology, we've seen for the first time the manifestation of the cups that brings many of us the beauty of life, to live a simple life where we don't need to suffer in so many ways from diabetic or high blood pressure or cancer or viruses and everything else. Now we can quantify it, we can cover it and protect our lives with simple systems and simple methods, which is the beauty of the Keshe Foundation. We bring the most advanced cultures of the knowledge of the universe in a very simple cup of life. Cup number 1. We see it in a very simple system, in a pain pen and pain pad. And mankind for centuries have been looking for these things. And because we have the command of the knowledge, we can make it be sweet and simple. Thank you very much for today. And thank you very much to everyone in the background who make it possible. And in so many ways, we hope by 21st of March, we set an example of world peace, do and through the delivery of technologies, not with rhetoric, as we've done with cups and pads and enhancement units. Maybe the whole thing might change if the man sees something flying, then he believes in it. And even then, going to moon is not good enough. If we can go to planet Zeus in another dimension, and if the planet Zeus exists, then we believe in it. But unfortunately, man is too physical. Let us fly you to your soul and then see how far you can travel with that one. Thank you very much for today. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Next, they'll want you to take the entire planet Earth to another galaxy, but only part of the people who want to go to that galaxy will be the problem there.
Dziękuję za wysłuchanie i obejrzenie tego warsztatu. I tradycyjnie, jak ktoś by chciał zabrać głos, to zapraszam. Jeśli nie ma pytań, to powoli będziemy kończyć. Myślę, że warsztat jest dosyć ciekawym tematem, jeżeli chodzi o końcówkę, czas oraz to, co wcześniej było. Czyli można powiedzieć, co niektórzy uważają to w różnych trendach jako nauki duchowe, buddyjskie. No, jakby to powiedzieć, wiele kwestii się powtarza, jeżeli chodzi o to zrozumienie właśnie nie wywierania wpływu chociażby na dzieci, które sobie ustawiają ścieżkę życia i naciskania, odpuszczania pewnych no nie wiem, emocji, które są w innych ludziach, nie wkraczanie jakby w pewne rozdrażnienie tego całej tej jakby struktury rozmowy z innymi na temat jakikolwiek, gdzie stwarzamy pewien chaos i pozwalamy jakby płynąć temu i stajemy się obserwatorami tego, co nam jakby dusza podpowiada lub środowisko poprzez duszę. Wiem, że temat jest dosyć ciężkim tematem i trzeba mieć jakiś taki nurt do wypowiedzi tych wielu kwestii i ciężko jest się poruszać w tym wszystkim, dlatego mi też jest również ciężko mówić o tym, bo też nie chcę powielać w kółko tego samego, a każdy czuje pewnie tą wiedzę na swój sposób i kolektywnie czujemy ją tak samo. Tak więc każdy w pewien sposób po każdym z tych warsztatów ma taką lżejszą duszę i jakby czuje się po prostu lepiej, czuje się bardziej taki uniesiony, wzniesiony. I ja też to czuję w wielu takich warsztatach. I jak dłuższy czas nie słucham jakichś takich właśnie nauk, to tak jakoś czegoś brakuje zawsze. Tak więc na dzisiaj skończymy. Bardzo fajny warsztat. Dzięki za przetłumaczenie Marcinowi, Dawidowi i Przemkowi. Tak więc to były 444 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim w niedzieli 28 lutego 2021 i zapraszam na kolejne spotkanie w czwartek. Tak więc do usłyszenia. Dobrej nocy.
Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie, nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.